everyone. This is another episode on Darin's Deep Dives. We are talking about adaptogenic herbs, or at least a few of them. I realize that just talking about all of them is way too overwhelming. So I'm just going to talk about a few fun ones, but most importantly, powerful ones, some of the most powerful. And I'll get a little nerdy on it about some of the benefits, and I will maybe tell some stories too on some of my travels to some of those places. So anyway, I'm going to let a few people come on. Welcome, everyone. Kimberly, welcome. So yeah, we're going to talk about adaptogenic herbs today because they are some of the greatest plant support systems, and really the world's first medicines. And I can't tell you how special adaptogenic herbs are. I mean, these are been studied for thousands of years, literally, by the Ming Dynasty to Ayurveda, over 20, and some people even say 40,000 years. Every ancient culture, they found these adaptogenic herbs. And so we're going to talk a little bit about them and why should we consume them, how should we consume them, and how to make that a part of your life. See, the thing is that we're so used to medicine in a different kind of way in the Western world, and that's a big issue. Whereas a lot of these herbs taken over time, a few weeks, a month, 3 months, really start building the body up to then let the body figure out how to optimize itself. So really start to understand what adaptogenic herbs are. This is not stimulants. These are not things that you take like caffeine from the coffee seed, that are nature's their coffee fruit's natural insecticide that stimulate you and can work over your adrenals. Adaptogenic herbs are not stimulants. Adaptogenic herbs are nurturing qualities that largely, when taken over a period of time, they nurture the body, that allows you to deal with stress and optimizes things like the immune system, the regenerative aspects of the body, repair, anti-inflammatory, anti-fatigue, life-building kinds of things. That's generally speaking some of what adaptogenic herbs are. Largely when adaptogenic herbs are found in extreme situations. So I'm going to talk about a few of those. So the 3 adaptogenic herbs I'm going to talk about today is one, ashwagandha, from largely the Ayurvedic principles and from India. First time I put my hands on ashwagandha was about in 2004 or 5. And then since been back to India a few times since then. And the next one we're going to talk about is a very powerful one, and a beautiful name if you want to name your daughter this one. It's called Schizandra. So Schizandra is grown in the remote areas of China, typically, and I've been there too. Finding, discovering, researching, learning about Schizandra. That's the second one. The third one, I think I'm going to talk about another top one for me, and that is rhodiola. And rhodiola, again, I was on expedition at high elevation, jumping on boulders and discovering and finding natural rhodiola. So those are the 3: ashwagandha, Schizandra, and rhodiola. What I'm going to zero in on adaptogens. I could probably make a video on one single adaptogen and talk for at least a half an hour. But I'll probably do some other videos on adaptogenic herbs as we go. If you guys like this, then just give me a thumbs up and I'll talk about other ones. Also, add to the list here in the comments and ask me for future videos about what other herbs you want to hear about and what are the things you're thinking about using. And you know, obviously the big one is navigating quality and making sure you're getting an herb that has the active compounds in it. So that's a big thing. And obviously when I started my Superfood Conservancy project that's on my Superlife website, it's geared around improving the quality of herbs and the families that grow them and supporting the environment. It really is how it should be, but it often is not how it is. Okay, so let's dive a little bit into ashwagandha. That would be a hell of a name for your next daughter, or pet maybe. Tough to say. Ashwagandha. So it's interesting that ashwa, in I think it's Hindi, means horse, and gandha is smell. So ashwagandha basically means horse smell. So when you harvest ashwagandha, and it's really the root, very little. Well, people do use the leaves, but it's really some constituents of the leaves kind of transfer to the root later in its cultivation, and you get some of those constituents. But mainly how you consume rhodiola, I've got some here actually in a full root powder form. It's very bitter and pungent, but I kind of like that stuff because I know there's some wallop behind it. But so ashwagandha means horse smell, because it smells like that upon freshly harvesting. It kind of smells like a horse. Anyway, the cool thing is it's connected to, from a plant perspective, connected to goldenberry. That's somewhat found in India and also in Peru, and goldenberry is a very favorite fruit of mine. So that was an interesting discovery, how those plants are connected. So ashwagandha does produce a flower and a fruit, but that's largely not consumed as any type of healing aspect. It's very bitter, astringent, and has this kind of sweet sense. So it's kind of hitting on some other constituents of the body. Usually when you have bitters and astringents, you have a lot of compounds that can help benefit the body in terms of strengthening, vitality, energy, these kind of things. So let's dig in a little bit. So obviously from India, Ayurvedic herb, also known as Indian ginseng. So it's primary, if you walked away from this video about ashwagandha, other than it smells like horse, and it's largely energizing and strengthening, okay, as well as restorative, and helps to negate fatigue. So this is a very cool thing, because again, don't expect to take ashwagandha, and by the way, well, I'll get into how to take it in a little bit, but don't expect to take it and expect to be, energized like we're so used to in this Red Bull, Monster Energy drink, coffee addicted society. This is where we need to give herbs a chance, my friends, right? Instead of reaching for the pharmaceutical drugs, reach for these adaptogenic herbs and consume them on a consistent basis. And largely your body will start to restore, energize, revitalize its constituents and turn on its normal endocrine functions, immune functions, brain-derived neurotropic actions. This is what ashwagandha can start to do. It also fights that overall fatigue, that insomnia, and helps the hormonal balance. Now, keep in mind that these things are not necessarily a panacea if you're not taking care of the rest of your daily habits. So like if I'm not drinking enough water every day, the number one cause of fatigue is dehydration. So expecting 100% of your vitality to come by way of just taking ashwagandha is not a good thing, which is why I wrote Super Life, the book. Super Life was there to build on, let's get this solid foundation of nutrition, hydration, detoxification, oxygenation, all alkalinization. Let's build your body up so that when you take these adaptogenic herbs, so when you take things like ashwagandha, schizandra, ginseng, maca, tulsi, all of these things, that then your body is not fighting all these other things because it has enough to fight. It has environmental toxins. You've got emotional stressors. You've got mental stressors. You have things that we have never experienced in the creation of humans, right? So the reason these adaptogenic herbs are so important right now is because it helps mitigate stress. It helps control cortisols, and it helps to restore and start building our bodies. And the cool thing about ashwagandha is it's a calming, tonic, and supportive nerve center. So largely it goes after, helps anxiety, ruminating ideas, creating anxiety, kind of a false, you think of something and you want it to happen, and you can't control it, and you ruminate about it and you stress yourself. Well, largely ashwagandha can calm your system down so you don't kind of go off the handle at this fight or flight, stressful kind of state that we actually put ourselves in, okay? So naturally, ashwagandha is starting to increase and build one's natural energy. So anti-stress, anti-tumor, anti-inflammatory, actually, immune system modulation. So again, adaptogens, if you have slight autoimmune, then ashwagandha can help calm down, actually, the immune system. But if your immune system is also in the toilet, not doing well, ashwagandha can help build that up. Sorry about the phone. And so that's the way to look at some of these things. Ashwagandha is there to build over time, okay? So I also want to state that these are my opinions. This is from my experience, and you should consult your healthcare provider. And these are no supplements are ever approved by the FDA. So don't even look for that. It's funny that we always have to put this statement, these are not approved by the FDA, and my statements are not approved by the FDA. FDA never approves anything. But that being said, these are my opinions, and this is from my research and the things that I have. And by the way, there's tons and tons and tons of research, especially on ashwagandha, schizandra, all the adaptogenic mushrooms, chaga, reishi, shiitake, lion's mane, all of those things are adaptogenic, and tons of research on that as well. So do your own research, use yourself, follow your own curiosity, okay? I just want to say that. So also, ashwagandha is great for longevity. Again, I've always said this over and over again already, restorative and over time. So after about 3 months of using ashwagandha, and these are my theories, so right now, this is not scientific, but I have a theory that ashwagandha turns on telomerase over time, which is the anti-aging enzyme of your chromosomes. which is, so look into telomerase and telomeres. I'll do another talk on that at some point. And I also have a theory that ashwagandha helps turning on stem cells. So these are mine, and hopefully within the next year and a half, I will actually come to you and prove to you that that is actually the case. So I'm going on record. So there's some cool kind of withanols, these compounds that really are behind. There's many different types, but these withanols are anti-tumor, helps repair, regrowth, and so maybe even in the concentration of these methanols, these will really be the catalyst for other kind of medicinal supporting activity. So maybe those are behind the stem cells and the telomerase, but yet to be determined. So we'll find out. Also, another side benefit of ashwagandha is sexual function, both male and female. Again, it's helping to balance the hormonal system, so therefore it's helping the sexual function. The funny thing is, on adaptogens, I always laugh when I'm in a far off place and I learn about another adaptogen. It's always helping sexual function. It's like, it's so crazy that every time you get benefits by having, your sexual function, you want to have sex more, your libido goes up. Listen, this is what goes on. When you're healthy, when your body's healthy and thriving, you want to have sex. You want to feel good. You want to promote life. So that's the thing about, when we're stressed and depressed and fighting disease and chronic disease and can't restore or repair, who the hell wants to have sex, right? So these adaptogenic herbs, really all of them, start to repair in other different ways sexual function. So please, when you're using all of these things, consult your physician. Now, I've got ashwagandha here. This is the ground up full root. You can take it in capsules. They, put it in capsules. They press it in tablets, or you can just take the full powder and get all of the radical great benefits from it. So this is one of those herbs that you don't have to extract anything. It's always here. It's here to be able to use. So I've formulated with ashwagandha. It's in formulations I've created, but also I will boost myself if I'm stressed more, if I need to repair more, if I'm just feeling like my immune system needs support, if I need extra vitality or energizing, or I preempt it by if I know I have a trip coming up, if I know I have a talk to do, I will start building the energy and the vitality by using ashwagandha, using extra of it, and boosting shakes and tonics and teas. Every morning I dump a little ashwagandha with some chaga. Now that's another important thing. Ashwagandha is fairly usable in terms of, in Ayurveda, it's used as a base. And you can add turmeric to it. So turmeric and ashwagandha go really well together. So you get a lot of beneficial compounds, brain compounds, anti-inflammatory compounds, all those benefits from turmeric and curcumin. And then you can add ashwagandha and get all these other adaptogenic building aspects of it. And throw some coconut milk in there. And you can really up your game in terms of a tonic to use, okay? So I'm going to move on because I can tell that this is going to be a very long call. So traditional Chinese medicine also uses ashwagandha a lot. So you can get powders, tinctures, you can get an extract, and very good. Again, there's a lot of Parkinson's research that shows there's a lot of memory loss, pain relief, all of that stuff with ashwagandha. As you can tell, there's so many benefits But if you come from the point of view that you just take it once and feel all these things, you're going to be disappointed. This is something that taken over time. If you've heard me talk, micronutrients, aspects of actually living healthfully are added up over time. Adaptogens are the same thing, okay? So, okay, I need to breathe. I get so excited. You know, I get so excited about this stuff. And I feel like I'm like running. Because I want to get you all the information, or at least some of it. I can't get you all the information. I can get you some of it. So the next one I'm going to talk a little bit about is Schizandra. So I was a couple years ago in southwestern China, in a sovereign area of Tibet. So it was taken over by China, unfortunately. These Tibetan mountains with some Tibetan elders and a whole group of friends and researchers. And we were at 15, 16, 17,000 feet under the severity of high elevation, cold, wind, sun, extreme temperatures, whereby whereby Schizandra is getting stressed. And so the stress of the Schizandrins that are in Schizandra are adapting to the environment, whereby these allies, by us taking them, we get to benefit. So I was running around, a lot of people dropped off, and me and this Tibetan guy continued to run up to find different types of Schizandra. Schizandra, I'm so sorry. The running up the mountain came with Rhodiola. My panda protected area was Schizandra. I jumped, I saw my notes, and I saw Rhodiola. So, sorry. So the Schizandra is a vine, and it grows up on trees, and it has these little berries. And the amazing aspect of Schizandra is literally one of the greatest adaptogens in terms of its overall constitution. Okay? This thing is so powerful. It's a berry, but it has the 5 flavors: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent. Literally, when you eat this, it's right here. So this is Schizandra. Can you see that? So that's just ground berry powder. And you can smell it's very pungent and bitter. When you taste it, you feel that you taste the sweet. And this is, I visited this panda-protected area west of Qingdao in China. And it was incredible to see this in the wild, to eat it in the wild, because literally you taste it and you're getting blasted with all these senses. So what does that mean? Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent. What does that mean? Well, those are signals for the different aspects of the body. So they largely, the lore and the way that traditional Chinese medicine uses them is that it helps the 5 senses. So 5 flavors helps the 5 senses: hearing, taste, touch, smell. All of these things help to build the body over time. Here's the other crazy thing, is it also builds the 5 physical organs: kidney, liver, spleen, lungs, and heart. So collect all that for a second. The 5 primordial senses are turned on by the flavors, which is also building the organs. And it is also representing the cosmology. Okay? So Chinese cosmology: earth, wind, fire, metal, water, and Tibetan cosmology, meaning earth, water, fire, air, and space. Now, the reason I say all this is because this is no joke. This is not something studied for the last 25 years. This has been studied for tens of thousands of years by ancient cultures. Way before people wore lab coats thinking they knew everything. Okay? This has been used over and over and over again, which is why I like and be humbled by these things. So these are some of the top aspects. So this helps all kinds of different stress, all the emotional, all of the mental, all of the environmental, which we are getting beaten up more and more on. Okay? Also massive for increasing memory, alertness, also calming the body down. That's the difference. It's not a stimulant. It's building vitality. It's opening channels for all of those senses, all those primordial organs are also allowing greater energy flow throughout the body. So when you take in over time, the vitality of your overall body, your energetic system starts to increase. Okay? It's also a great liver tonic. It starts to help pull out liver and detox in a phase 1 and a phase 2 and helps to restore the liver. A lot of people who are angry, a lot of environmental toxins, a lot of pharmaceutical, a lot of alcohol beats up the liver. And we need to restore the liver because it's cleansing the entire body. Okay? Very, very important. Schizandra, you can literally buy this at Z Naturals. We'll put links below. Mountain Rose Herbs. Get the whole powder. You can throw it in some water. I've got another video on this. Throw it in some water and bammo, let it seep and drink this, or add it to other tinctures and tonics. Okay, great to use, and believe me, you will be blown away at the restorative aspects of Schizandra. This beautiful adaptogen is one of my favorites because there's no freaking downside. It's only building your body in the best way possible. Okay, I gotta plug my. Sorry, I'm gonna lose power here. Okay, I was about to lose power. So now we're going to talk about another favorite. So Rhodiola Rosea. So when I flipped the script, Rhodiola Rosea, I was running up mountains with the Tibetans, discovering rhodiola, and this is rhodiola, again a powder form, but I suggest I can extract this with alcohol, but you can get rhodiola, which I'll tell you more about, and a 3 to 5% Rosavins standardized extract, and then you'll get most of these, if not all of these benefits. So Rhodiola Rosea comes from the Arctic, from Siberia, from the stressed out areas in high elevation, cold temperatures, and the warriors of the Arctic, Mongolia, Russia, all of these areas found that by using rhodiola, it built a high amount of strength, but most importantly, rhodiola blows away. This is again my point of view. This is not looked at by the FDA. You got to talk to your hopefully your functional medicine doctor. But rhodiola is one of the greatest antidepressants that we have. It's been researched, it's been studied, and we will. I don't know if we'll have time to put the links below on that research, but do your own research. Okay, so Rhodiola Rosea, antidepressant, one of the great adaptogenic herbs, energy, uplift mood, revitalization. 2 types. Really, it's the crenulata or the rosea. Rhodiola rosea or the Rhodiola crenulata. Usually the roseas get the most research. Crenulata has some other great nuance benefits as well, but the Rosea is the most in the marketplace. Again, wonderful. All of these herbs, from ashwagandha, Schizandra, to rhodiola, they all improve performance as well. Increase endurance, stamina, especially rhodiola, high energy producing. Again, not a stimulant, building vitality, energy, performance, recovery at the same time. All those rosavins are incredible for boosting the body. Also, huge with the rhodiola. Why is it so important for antidepressant? Well, it's reducing stress, but it's also eliminating and moving through and getting rid of cortisol. We all have too much cortisol, right? So rhodiola is incredible for removing and lowering cortisol. Huge environmental stressors. We're getting toxified in the air we breathe, in the water we drink, in the food we eat, and any other types of toxic exposures, lifestyle exposures, deodorants, soaps, shampoos, carpets, fragrances, all of that stuff. Rhodiola is fantastic for removing and help to mitigate the stress from those things, the environmental stress. Okay, so rhodiola is fantastic for that. Of course, it's good for sexual enhancement. You've heard me talk about that. And there's a bunch of studies on, again, erectile dysfunction and all of that stuff. See, a lot of these adaptogens are constantly building. And also the wonderful thing I love about rhodiola, again, is the brain support. You have rhodiola, and you can combine it with turmeric as well, which turmeric has the tumerones that help create neurological regenerative aspects. Hell, you can even throw any little coffee fruit on there to increase the BDNF, the brain-derived neurotropic factor. So I'm giving you a formula here. Rhodiola with turmeric and coffee fruit is a phenomenal brain enhancement formula. Phenomenal. Okay. Rhodiola is also good for concentration and memory. Alertness. Rhodiola just lifts you up, man. It's like bink, bink, bink. Rhodiola is going to get your ass off of the couch, out of poor me mentality. I don't know what to do with my life. Just consume rhodiola for a month and let's see where you go. Okay? I dare you. And when you do, tomorrow, when you go get it, I want you to tell me how you feel. Okay? And then I want you to be a renegade in your own life, and I want you to live your super life. I don't want to waste my time telling you about all of this great stuff if you don't actually use it. I'm making no money on telling you about rhodiola or Schizandra or ashwagandha or maca or whatever, right? Yeah, I formulated in some products, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about you consuming this stuff so that ultimately you can get out of your own way and build the vitality so that you can move into your consciousness and live the super life that you were meant to live. Okay? So I think I'm going to end it there because that's a good one to end on. Again, rhodiola, make sure you get 3 to 5% rosavins in a standardized extract. You can consume that as an extract. And for sure at least 30 days. And there is, from what I understand, there's no conflict from introducing ashwagandha, Schizandra, and rhodiola, but you might want to just do one. If one has resonated more than the other, from what I've talked about today, try that one first for a minimum of 30 days. And then see how you feel. And then you can maybe switch to the other one and or play around with that. Okay? I hope you have an amazing weekend. Or if you're listening to this at another time, I hope you're having an amazing life. So from me as a superfood hunter that loves to go out and find this stuff out of curiosity and run up mountains and run around panda protected areas and run over to India and see this stuff cultivated firsthand, I want to tell you firsthand, this stuff is nature's bounty. And there's no way you can get the benefit if you don't use it. Okay? As with anything, take action, because then action will open doors of a different possibility that you didn't know was there until you take the action. Okay? I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great weekend, or a great day, or a great life. Here I go. We'll talk to you later.
Living right, Darin